It is 7:40 a.m. and I've been having contractions all day yesterday, and it's getting more intense. So my boyfriend blew up the birth pool, and after every contraction it's like very, very draining. So you definitely want to have some electrolytes and all of that. So we're gonna make the labor aid that my doula suggested with lemon, maple syrup, magnesium tablets. I finally got a little rest in between the contractions because they were so intense but further apart. And right now I told my boyfriend like around 2 in the morning to go to sleep because I'm gonna need him, you know. And okay, I'm like texting my mom to get some last minute like cold and hot press for my back. I'm feeling a lot of back pain due to how he's positioned right now. His position right now is called ROP. So his back is facing me and his hands and everything is up front towards the road. And I need him to shift, but I'll keep y'all posted. So it's now November 11th, 2:48, and 3 days of these contractions. We had so many contractions last night, and I just sat on the birth ball, yoga ball, the ball, and just sat on it all night, and the contractions were 7 minutes apart, 7 minutes apart, 7 minutes apart. And that's where we at with it right now. Other than that, I feel okay. My body was built for this. Pain is temporary. Pain is temporary. That's all I keep telling myself. Like, the universe don't give you anything you can't handle. So we have no idea what's gonna happen. I'll keep y'all updated. So at this point, my contractions are super close. We think that he's coming. My doula come over. She's helping me in the birth pool. We just don't know why he is not shifting with every contraction. These contractions been going on since November 7th. On November 7th, they was like 12 minutes apart, 15, then sometimes it was 5. It was just all over the place. I'm exhausted at this point, but I'm still going. So we ended up doing various exercises to get him to move into my pelvis and just shift him. So I'm trying everything I could possibly do.
The heart rate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Heart rate sounds pretty good, actually. You want to get back on the box thing? do a couple contractions here. We can, if you lift this leg, and does it feel bad?
So now we hit November 13th, and my midwife backup came through. She was amazing because the midwife needed to take a little break. Like, they've been there for a long time now. So she checked the heart rate and everything. Everything sounds good. We think we having progress. But once again, I'm just not there. At a certain point after, I say November 11th, I don't remember none of this. Like, I truly don't. My whole, everything was in a whole nother place. And I was just like, baby, I just want to see you at this point. So my midwife Tanya from Manhattan Birth, she comes back from getting a little rest. Check me again. I'm back in the birth pool. I'm pushing, and he's not moving down into my pelvis. I will push so hard. I've been pushing for days at this point. He was just not moving down. Everybody just take a nap, and I'm just in the birth pool enjoying the warmth and just saying my mantras and affirmations and just visualizing him coming down and just hoping that everything be all right with him and me, because I couldn't even drink water. I couldn't eat for the last couple of days. Just nothing. I just had no urge to do any of it. It was really tough for me, but I still stuck in that birth pool because I really wanted to have him in the birth pool. So now I feel like this intense rush of pain in my back so hard. So I'm like, got out the birth pool, been back into the birth pool, my doula here, midwife here. I'm just taking it all in, and then boom, get out the birth pool, my water breaks. So now we like, okay, we are here with it. It is about to happen. He's about to come. Whoo! Like, that's like day 6 now, you know? So water break, boom.
Right there? Yeah, that's...
So I'm back in the pool. And this time after my water broke, so it's around 12 at this point. And I'm feeling intense pain now. I'm just like, okay, it's time. He's going to come. I'm pushing. They checking, we check, everybody checking. It's a whole different level of pain at this point. But I'm like, let's go. Let's do this, baby. He did not move a bit. And at this point, I am 9 centimeters dilated. Like, I'm thinking this is the point. But my midwife, she kept it real with me, and she been keeping it real with me. Like, he's not shifting. The past 2 days, there haven't been much progress. So we going to have to go to the hospital. And you gotta go now. So she called the hospital, and the hospital is like ran by midwives, which is amazing. And this was like the last thing I wanted to happen. And it was kind of tough to just like stomach that. I did not want to go to the hospital. I did not want to have a hospital birth whatsoever. But for the sake of my child and me, I had to do what we had to do. So we get to the hospital, and everything is just going so well, and I was shocked because I haven't had great hospital experiences. Never been to this hospital before. Everybody is so kind. Get there, they start, giving me IV because I'm extremely dehydrated at this point. I am drained. My uterus is drained. I'm drained. We drained over here. And they start entering everything. And then they said, we have to give you an epidural. And I was just like, oh my God, this is going absolutely left, but it's no time to stress over anything. And that's what happened. So the epidural was in. And the doctor came and said, well, your heart rate is going up to 180 and your baby's heart rate is going down tremendously. We're going to keep track of it for a little bit more, but I will come back to speak about other options. And I'm just like, wow, did not know this was gonna happen. And they ended up giving me Pitocin so I couldn't contract. So what happened when I went to the hospital, my contractions got further apart from when they was about 2 minutes apart, which usually happen. So they gave me Pitocin, and the baby did not like it whatsoever, and his heart rate dropped drastically. And my heart rate went up drastically.
Maybe I'm gonna have the nurse to do your temperature, but the heartbeat already is like shoot up. That's why I was telling you, we don't have time for you to nap, and let's just get it going. And then you had like the heartbeat dropped once, like here, you had a decel, so we had to wait to start the medicine. But my goal is to start the medicine to make you contract as soon as possible, because your contractions are really far away, to be able to give you a best chance in vaginal delivery. Okay? But just keep that in mind, that like infection starting to grow, because I can see it in the heart rate of the baby. Normal heart rate is up to 160 or like 170 to 180. Okay? So we wash it closely, and I'll try to give you the best shot. Okay?
So we can start the dips at this heart rate?
We are, yeah, I mean, there's no contraindication to do so, but we're gonna have a really low tolerance. Like, the baby doesn't tolerate it, you start having, yeah. All right, my dear. I just want to let you know. Let's see. Hopefully we get you. And come to your side, okay? Can you come lay on your side? And set up your back?
Yeah, they shifted me like this to have my pelvis open.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe in a little while we can have you come on the side, because babies usually like it better.
And I have a peanut ball, so we can.
Yeah, I love the peanut. Do the peanut. Peanut is the best.
Okay.
the best results are with peanuts.
So she'll shift to my left right now?
Give me 1 second, I'll fill it up.
She's gonna put
and
the
then-
peanuts for you.
Yeah. Give me 1
That's
second, we'll
it.
fill it up. And then, remember the peanut ball, the big one? The
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Let's come to this.
You're gonna
Yeah.
feel different now because you have an epidural.
Okay.
Do the peanut because it really works well. We bring the baby down, and I'm gonna start the pitocin, and then we just pray for the best. Okay. The medicine, because the medicine, like, you know, as soon as we put it on 1 and 2, and the baby's heartbeat is dropping. Okay. So there is a possibility that you need dissection. Okay. I just honestly don't like the tracing, and I don't think it's safe for the baby to, you know, give you the medicine. Mrs. B, can you do the temperature again?
So after the nurse left and they was going for about, I'll say 10-15 minutes, came back and said, we're looking at your charts. This is not looking good whatsoever. We're going to need to give you an emergency C-section because both of y'all health is just in danger right now of infection and other things. And if you choose not to go through with the C-section, you will have to sign these papers. In case something happens to y'all, we don't, you know, basically I chose to not go through with it. And I just looked at my partner because, you know, we had this whole ideal birth story in our head, and I'm just like, what do I do? And had to go through what was best for me and my baby. And I chose to go through with the emergency C-section. And I was just like, I really can't believe this is happening. I'm super healthy. Everything was going great. I had an amazing pregnancy. No morning sickness, no nothing. Work out, eat healthy. Everything's good. And this still happened. And I had to remind myself, I never should have to question the universe. I mostly question, what is this teaching me? Because I was so close-minded to certain aspects that could happen, like being in the hospital and have a birth there and this, that, and another. And this whole process just taught me a whole lot.
Deliver? Okay, 347?
Mr. Rizvi, can you give us gases?
What do we need?
Just syringes?
Oxytocin started.
Thanks. That was hard.
347 deliver?
You see?
So then cover the needles that we can save it for
You
me.
see?
Do not discard anything.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Stopper cover for each one of them.
Are you cool?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
And change?
So now I like close my eyes briefly in the room that they had me hooked up to the IV and everything, and then I wake up and I'm in the operating room, strapped down, shaking uncontrollably, and the anesthesiologist is putting all these warm bubble wrap compress around me. He's right by my head. He's like, what do you need? Are you cold? Like, I could not stop shaking. And I could like partially feel crazy amount of pressure on one side of my body during the procedure where it was like painful. But like due to my pain tolerance is probably the only reason I wasn't screaming a little. It is what it is. And then I look to my right and I see this little hand, and I could not see his face, but I just see a hand and I'm like, that's my baby, he's here. We did it. I did it. He's here. And I'm still there trying to process everything, and I realized like I didn't have that skin to skin right away. Didn't get to see his face. I actually didn't get to see him for 2 days after that. They rushed him to NICU to run some tests because they feared that we was in risk of an infection due to the fact that my water broke like just about 12 hours before I actually went to the hospital. So they rushed him to NICU and he was there for 2 days. And after the procedure was about an hour and some change, I go to recovery and the first picture I see of him is like these tubes running out of him and it's like this cast on his arm, and I was just like, this wasn't supposed to go like this, but nonetheless he's here, you know? And that was just tough to see. And just even going to our private room and me sitting there, like, I didn't get to hold him right when he came out. I didn't get to see him. I didn't get to do any of that. And it was kind of hard to let that go. And then they brought him to the room 2 days later on the 16th. And it was just like, wow. I started breastfeeding right away. He latched on right away and he was smiling, and it was just like this euphoric moment. It was crazy.
I was talking to him. He's hearing my voice. Yes. Yup.
Go through them.
All in all, we are doing great. We are home. I spent 4 days in the hospital. So got there November 14th, came home November 18th. And yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I needed to go through this lesson, and he wanted to enter the world when he wanted to enter the world. So the biggest thing I learned is never count anything out when it comes to something you don't have 100% control over. And just me being me, I'm so used to schedules and being on time, and this is going to happen because I'm doing this and this, that, and another. And this just told me to let that go and trust the process. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe below. Give this video a thumbs up. It really helps this channel, and I'll see you soon. Peace.